Aloha, everybody. This is Keith Greer with the Rotary Club of South Hilo, part of District 5000. We're so excited to be with you today as part of PETS. This was a position I was in last year, as now I'm the club president this year for my group. And I'm super excited to talk to you guys about fundraising and specifically event sponsorships today. I'm here with actually one of my coworkers and fellow club members, Lonnie Weigert.
Aloha, everyone.
Excellent. And so we're going to jump right in and talk to you about an event sponsorship and reimagining that we did for our professional jobs last year, actually in 2018. So go ahead, Lonnie, talk about how we reimagined this event to make it more relevant for our community, because I know a lot of people are having to reimagine their events due to COVID these days.
Thank you so much, Keith. Yeah, for Hawaii Choices, which formerly was Hospice of Hilo, every year we would do a celebration of life. And so what we would normally have is anywhere between 200, maybe 300 people. And so the part that really inspired me is that I knew that so many more families were being impacted by a loss of a loved one. And so I started to reimagine the event to be able to reach a lot more people. And it really started with the idea that we needed to move the event to a different location. And boy, there was just so much that happened from there. I'm going to kick it back to Keith now so he can kind of share with you the journey that we went on this reimagining.
Yeah, when we started talking about reimagining the event, there were a couple things that were really important to us. The first one was to make sure that we were representing our community members that we care for on our hospice programs. So we wanted to make sure that we were bringing in our military. So we brought in the military honor guards, honor our veterans that are a part of our program, but we also wanted to make sure that it was going to be a celebration. And of course, every celebration begins with food, isn't that right? And so we had to have all of the great food there. And then we brought in the cultural cultural pieces of our community as well. So of course, I'm sure everybody's familiar with the hula dances, but there's also here in Hawaii, the Bon dance, which is a Japanese Buddhist tradition. It's all about dancing in celebration of your loved ones that are no longer here with us, to celebrate the sacrifices that they made that allow us to live the lives we have today. And with that, we were able to grow the event from, how many did we have that first year, Lonnie?
Well, before we moved the event to Reeds Bay, we were at Wailoa State Park and we probably had about 250 people. Once we came to this new location at Reeds Bay, we had over 3,000 people. So that was really quite an expansion. What was interesting though is when we wanted to involve more organizations, more people, just really get our net of reach so much wider, it was really about inclusion and, you know, trying to really reach the goal of our mission, which was to touch the lives of everyone that we served. And so here at Reeds Bay, as you can see from this aerial shot, we had people all over the shore. Keith, you want to explain to them what these mats were that were in on the ocean there?
Yeah, the mats were actually a really crucial part of what we were doing because at our prior location, people were not able to release the lanterns themselves. The river banks were too steep, so people were in the water. You'd hand your lantern to the person, but really, the releasing of the lanterns was the physical embodiment of the emotional journey you were going on as part of this event. And so we partnered with the County of Hawaii to bring in these special ocean mats so that even our people in wheelchairs or on walkers were able to get down to the water's edge and release the lanterns themselves. And we had over 500 lanterns that were floating out into the bay, which was just quite a remarkable experience and thing to see. And so as we kind of get into the nitty gritty of event sponsorship, it really comes down to these three basic questions when it comes to how are we going to price this out. the first question that you need to be able to answer is how much money do you need to promote your event? What's going to be your marketing budget? The second question is how much money do you need to be able to put on your event? And the third question is how much money do you want to raise from your event? And sponsorship is really going to go ahead and address the first two of those questions. So when it comes to creating your sponsorship levels, your title or your presenting sponsor, you're usually only going to have one of those. And so for us, it was Allstate Insurance. So it was Allstate Insurance proudly presents the Celebration of Life, a Hawaii Care Choices event. And that presenting sponsor should really cover 100% of your promotional needs. And that's where you're going to set your very first benchmark to start with. You know, once you grow this event and the event becomes so much bigger and there's a reputation that surrounds it, you can increase that amount. But if you're just starting from ground one, you really want to make sure that you're at least covering 100% of your promotional expenses with your title or presenting sponsor. Your second level of sponsors, you're going to maybe have 3 to 5 sponsors within that area, and they're going to cover, their price for that level is going to be anywhere from 50 to 75% of the cost of your top sponsor. And then for your third level, you're going to have between 5 and 10 sponsors, maybe more, but they're going to bring in, again, 50 to 75% of your level 2 sponsors. So each one we're cutting in about half. You're also going to want to make sure that you're reducing the benefits with each one of those levels to make sure that they're appropriate for the amount that people are including in their sponsorships. But your second and your third levels are really going to cover the expenses for putting on the event. And then your fourth level, you're going to want to get as many sponsors as you can possibly get. And so the price there should be something that most businesses are going to be able to afford in your community to show your support. This is where your fundraising really comes in. That's going to be the money that you're able to show as revenue for the work that your club is doing for scholarships or for grants that you're giving out to your community. And then when it comes to the sponsorship benefits, for the sponsors, this is not only about showing the good work that you're doing as part of your club, but it's also a chance for them to put their marketing dollars into a venue and into a program that's really going to give them some goodwill. So you want to make sure that you're promoting your sponsors as much as you possibly can. So making sure that they're included in print ads, like in your newspaper, your local magazines, and making sure that anytime that you're talking about them, they're associated with your event. So it's not just an advertisement for Allstate Insurance, but it's Allstate Insurance is supporting this event through our organization. Making sure that you're going out and promoting through radio and social media. You can tag your sponsors in the posts as well. And you can even create special posts to thank your sponsors along the way. Direct mail, does your club have its own mailing list? Do your club members have mailing lists for their business that you're able to use, or maybe even go to the post office and rent a mailing list from them? And then, of course, press releases are a great way to get the word out too. But typically, it's only going to include your top sponsor in the press release because that's unpaid advertisement. In the newspapers, they don't want to list every single person. So really only your very top sponsor is going to be the one that's ever really included in the press releases. And then, of course, the benefits that they get at the event are really important too. So maybe they're able to get free tickets to the event. Maybe they're able to get a special VIP treatment. Maybe they get a booth at your event where they can talk about their own business and collect leads, banners that they're able to hang up and show their support right there at the event. Do you create special volunteer shirts that you have for the event and having their name and logo included on them, as well as on the event tickets? And maybe for your top sponsors, they even get a chance to speak at your event and spread the message of why they, as their business, are supportive of your event and the work that your organization, your club is doing. And of course, after the event, this is where some of the most important work happens. You're going to want to put together a package of all of the promotional items that they were a part of to give to them, to show them the effect, the impact that their sponsorship had on all of the advertisement that they got, on all of the pieces that they were included in. So make sure you include those social media posts that you tagged them in. And then, of course, asking them for the feedback on what they really liked about how the event went this year, how they appreciated the different advertising that they were a part of? Is there something that they would like to see different for next year? Because if you're starting to change it up and include things that they want, it's a great opportunity to up that price for next year too, so that you can say, you know, we're going to do everything that we did this year plus what you asked for. So next year it's going to be a little bit more. And then of course, don't leave that meeting without securing next year's commitment as well. It's a really important part of making sure that you're able to build that continuity and longevity for your sponsors, because you don't want them for just 1 year. You actually want them for many years. So with all of that said, I want to say thank you so much for joining us for this fundraising talk today and the sponsorships. And I hope you have a wonderful time at PETS. And thank you so much, Lonnie, for joining me as well.
Thank you so much, Keith. And aloha to everyone. You folks got this. Go get them. Yay.